Hey there guys, welcome to the video, thanks for tuning in, and look, I know what you're going to say, it's been done. This new Stasis build with Hail the Storm, it's definitely been done, I know, but there was a sneaky little update in this week's weekly reset. So, as you can see here, the Alethonym, I hope I'm saying that right, I hope I'm not butchering, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, it's had a little secret buff, and it's only a single line, but as you can see, it now uses or incorporates micro missiles into it. But as you can see here, if we go and look at the actual weapon, it doesn't mention anything about micro missiles in here, so you wouldn't be any the wiser that was part of the weapon now. But because it utilizes the micro missiles, it's actually going to get some, I guess, utility out of energy acceleration now. So sustained damage with micro missiles causes a kinetic shockwave, which has been happening. I tested it out, and it doesn't proc on the first hit. If you hit an enemy twice, it will go and yeah, obviously emit that shockwave. But at the same time, it's actually giving more vestiges as the explosions go off. So you end up with quite a few, and as we all know, the vestiges that we seek out and come back to us, they work in tandem with Blastwave Striders, and it actually gives us a boost to the Blastwave Striders generation of the ability. So, yeah, essentially you've got a charge bar, and once you are charged up, you slide or deal explosive self-damage, and you basically create this blast field of stasis crystals. So it's essentially like, it's like Hail the Storm, where you do the slide and then you melee and you get the crystals in front. Blastwave sort of gives you a stasis crystal field in, like, if you're looking at a clock, from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock in a fan pattern. So those crystals that come out from Blastwave, they explode all crystals that are currently on the battlefield, and it gets pretty destructive, really destructive real quickly. But I'm going to go over a quick few things. So we'll look at the subclass first, and look, very run-of-the-mill, very much so what everyone else is running. If you do need it, you run a rally barricade. No real need to run the towering unless you're pretty confident that you're going to die behind the rally. Obviously choose your own lift. We've got the Shiver Strike because, well, there's no other option there. And the Glacier Grenade. So Glacier Grenade is really good because you can obviously freeze combatants pretty quickly. But it also doubles, if you can't get the barrier up quickly and you need, I guess, a tactical barricade, you can just throw the grenade down and it pops up really quick. So it does double as a really nice defensive unit too. Now, look, run-of-the-mill stuff, we've got the Hail the Storm, which has been absolutely buffed to the ceiling here. It is really good now. It wasn't very good in weeks past, but in the last 2-3 weeks, I can't remember when it was that it was actually buffed, but it's everywhere now. I mean, it's really good to see Stasis back. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, look, as you can see there, the additional line down the bottom grants an additional melee charge. So I don't think it used to do that. That's why it's so good at the moment. Along with the stasis crystal that it generates, instead of one straight line, it gives you a bit of a two-lane effect of ice crystals, and it's very useful. Along with Tectonic Harvest, Shardirian Crystal or Frozen Target creates a Stasis Shard, because this build, and many others like it, they basically use this, crystal smashing as part of the build, but every crystal you're smashing up, you're getting a Stasis Shard back, so your melee is generating back almost immediately, and you can just forever slam down these ice crystals. And even more so in your super as well. When you're running your super, you can basically just keep doing it over and over and over again. And as you're, melee and then jumping up in the air, generating the crystals, they're constantly exploding. So the damage output is absolutely insane at the moment. Gonna look at the fragments. Now, I don't know whether, I haven't had a good look at some of these other builds, but pretty straightforward. So we've got the Whisper of Conduction, and now this is to get the stasis shards back to your position. Now, when it says nearby, they can be pretty far away, but as they get closer to you, they sort of speed up in how much they're tracking towards you. So, yeah, look, really beneficial to have. I probably wouldn't run this without it. It just saves you running around the battlefield trying to pick these up. Going to have Whisper of Fissures, so increase the damage and size of the burst of the crystal. So because you're going to be putting so many down, and they're just going to be absolutely everywhere, you'll be blowing them up constantly. So yeah, just another one that you'll need to run to get the full advantage out of the build. Got Whisper of Rending. So primary ammo weapons do increased damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets. Now, the reason I'm running that is because Alethonym technically runs primary ammo. So it is technically going to get some really good use out of this. So as opposed to using Icebreaker, where I believe Icebreaker uses special ammo, you've got infinite ammo on this weapon. You don't need to pick ammo up for it. And yeah, look, you can just shoot a crystal and everything explodes around it, and you're generating vestiges which work in tandem with your Blastwave Striders. So really, really good utility across this fragment, and using Alethonym. Now, last fragment we're going to look at is Whisper of Bonds. So defeating frozen targets generates an orb of power. Well, you'll see, and you would have seen in the footage, that the amount of frozen targets that you're going to be defeating is a lot. So you're going to be getting a lot of orbs of power. Generally, I think on a reclaim mission, if you're not even going really hard, you'll generate upwards of about 60, 70 orbs just by, not like trying to hog all the enemies and trying to kill everything on the screen. If you're just moseying around, doing what you need to do, 60, 70 orbs is pretty average. Pretty average. And that goes, you can obviously pick all those orbs up yourself. And your teammate's going to as well. So you're going to get your super back, and your teammate's going to get your super back too. So really, really quickly as well. Now, look at the weapons. So we've already gone over Alethonym. Now, we don't really need to utilize Alethonym's trait, so Vestigial Alchemy. Now, basically, once the bar's full, so it's another bar in the left-hand corner, you can hold down the X button, and it'll generate sort of like a type of ammo. But you'll notice that I don't think I actually use it once. You're more just using it because with the primary ammo fragment, it's really easy to smash up the crystals, and you can basically just keep running this. I've got the heavy Stasis machine gun, which I believe, I think you can get this from, or you might be able to get this from Banshee. I'm positive you can get this from Banshee. I think it is a world drop as well. I'm thinking of this. This is actually from Drifter, but we don't want to use that. But this one, I'm positive you can get that from Banshee because he obviously resets his rolls every week for the focus weapons. So just keep an eye out for it. I managed to get Rhyme Stealer, which was a really good one. Dragonfly as well. And that actually works well with one of our artifacts. So I'll get into the artifacts shortly after our armor, but you can see I've got the Scout Rifle there. I've got this more here, and it's a solar, so that comes into it too. But I've got the Scout Rifle there. It's more just for like anti-barrier, because if you can't kill the anti-barrier, it's just going to pop its barrier and then heal completely back to health, full health. So yeah, need some way to counteract that, and what better way to use that? And again, the artifact will come into play as well. So we're going to look at armor now, and as you can see, this is where I guess the crossover occurs with the Scout Rifle that I've got there. We're running Thermodynamic Siphon, so rapid kills with solar and stasis weapons creates more power. So, in the off chance that you need to use this, you're getting some orb generation happening there, and that's basically what I'm focused on for the helm. The arms, now, because Alethonym sort of reloads a little bit slow, I've opted for dual loaders for stasis weapons, and this really speeds it up quite a bit. So, yeah, you only need 2. You could probably get by 1 and maybe utilize another melee font, but I've found that 1 melee font's enough. Another one will give you another 20 points in melee, which, you'll feel a difference, but I think 1 is enough. And the dual loaders really speeds up Alethonym, so you don't really have a lot of downtime. So, yeah, beneficial there. We've got on the chest some stasis ammo generation. Now this is more for machine gun, so if you need like boss damage, you always want to go and have heavy ammo generating. And because we're using the Alethonym, the ammo generation stat on that weapon is quite good already. It's already 70, so with the 2 on there, that's going to give us 100. I think it maxes at 100. Even if you go to, that would be technically 110, but even if it goes over 100, I think that's the limit. It only stays at 100. Alongside that, we're just using charged up, just so we've got another armor charge there, and that's basically going to help out our melee font just hang around for a little bit longer. Pretty standard on the legs, stacks on stacks. When you pick up an orb power, you get an additional stack of armor charge. So just so we've got constant armor charge happening, it's much easier to get that happening with orbs of power because there's going to be so many. So that's why I run that on pretty much every build. And just to round out the last 2 mods on the legs, so I've got Orbs of Restoration. So this is basically just a little bit of a budget absolution, but I ran out of energy for slotting. But basically, picking up an orb power grants a small amount of energy to your ability with the least energy. And Absolution, very similar again, but reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb power. So, yeah, look, ways to bring your cooldowns on your abilities down even further. And then with the Bushido mark, or just the Titan mark in general, we've got Time Dilation ×2 and Powerful Attraction. So, if you get yourself into a bit of a nasty situation, and you know there's a lot of orbs lying around, there's been a big battle, you can chuck the barrier down, draws in all your orbs, and then you'll likely get your super back pretty quickly. So just to sort of get out of jail free card, or at least, get yourself out of a bit of a tricky situation. Now, like I said we were going to do, we're going to look at the artifact, and the artifact, well, again, you just run your weapons as you usually would. I've got Anti-Barrier Scout and Pulse. Now, obviously, that's going to work here. Now, for Overload, you can see there's Stasis, Slow, and Shatter effects. So we've got Overload covered as well, very nicely. The only thing I don't have is Unstoppable, and I couldn't really think of a legendary weapon that's going to stop an Unstoppable champion. So, yeah, look, I think all the Unstoppable snipers are exotics as well, and because we're already running the Alethonym, then we can't really use that. So yeah, you might just need to rely on other people to stop the Unstoppable champions. Moving on to the next one, so Flame, Fiber, and Freeze. Now that's going to give us our Thermodynamic Siphon, so just make sure you're selecting this one, and then one with Frost. So while Frost Armor is active, Stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability. So Stasis Hoods gain increased guard resistance. So maybe if you're using Aurora Dawn, in your last slot, you might be able to use it. I haven't incorporated it, but that's part of it too. But again, that's going to speed up Alethnym's reload speed too. Moving on to the next column, we've got Fever and Chill. So Rapid Precision hits with solar weapons grant Radiant, and Rapid Precision hits with Stasis grant Frost Armor. So because we're running a Scout Rifle, that's going to give us a little bit of ability to hit a precision hit. Now, you're not going to be using it a lot, but it gives you the ability to get Radiant. And that'll be applicable in the last column. We'll get to that in a sec. The only other one we've got there is Frost Renewal. So while you have Frost Armor, taking critical damage releases a burst. I think I've mentioned a couple of times, but it's a sort of a lower grade value of like Icewall Mantle, the burst of energy. Second last column, we're going to have Cauterized Darkness, so Stasis or Strand debuff non-boss combatants, so just your, red and yellow bars pretty much, take increased solar damage from all sources. So because you're going to be, freezing a lot of enemies, if you need to use your Scout Rifle, or whatever, energy weapon it is, if it is a solar, you're going to get a little bit more damage happening there, which might in turn increase your output to destroy anti-barrier champion barriers. So that might make a bit of help there. We're going to be running Elemental Coalescence as well, and our Energy Acceleration. So obviously Energy Acceleration again, because now Alethonym does have it, and I've noticed that it has been popping off. And yeah, look, you get a little bit of the vestiges sort of exploding as well. So last column is going to have Shield Crush. Now, as I was saying in the last column, so Fever and Chill, so Radiant. When you have Radiant, your grenade charges faster, and when you have Frost Armor, your melee charges faster. So obviously you're going to have Frost Armor a lot of the time anyway. That's very regularly going to be up, if not most of the time during battles. But your Radiant, If you knock off a few precision hits, then you get Radiant for, I believe it's 10 seconds. But then your recharge on your grenade will be faster too. And then the last one we've got is just while Frost Armor is active, Stasis Precision Final Blows cause combatants to release a freezing burst. So that's why I've got the machine gun. Gives us the ability to hit precision kills. And that's pretty much it for the artifact there, guys. So the only other thing I want to talk about is just the armor set. Look, you might find that you're not really swapping between weapons, but because you're drawing them all the time, because it counts as in you're sliding and then using Howl the Storm, and then you pull your weapon out. That's a freshly drawn weapon, right? And the other armor set is Smoke Jumper. So again, one that I've sort of incorporated into most of my builds. The damage resistance is too good. It, on top of Frost Armor, makes you very tanky, very beefy, and extremely hard to kill. So that's pretty much it, guys. Now, like I said, I know it's been done, but I think Alethonym and Blastwave Striders have really got it home with this really small change. I think it's a really beneficial change. It's not much, but with the artifact helping out, I think it's actually something that's quite beneficial for these two items. So give it a shot, guys. Let me know how you go. But yeah, look, I wasn't going to make a video on this build because it is everywhere at the moment. A lot of people make builds on it, but I really want to show these two exotics a bit of love. Blastwave Striders especially, it hasn't been good for a long time, but with the ability to generate more energy into the bar to get the ability going, I think it deserves a spot in the meta at the moment. So give it a go. Let me know how you go. And yeah, look, I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? I'm going to leave you with a bit of footage. Enjoy, guys. Bye.